So we have some great people with us today. We're thrilled to be joined tonight by State Senator Ira Hansen. Ira, where is Ira? Thank you, Ira. Thank you for the endorsements and all of the other things. Nevada Assembly members, Alexis Hansen. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you back there.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage State Assemblywoman Alexis Hansen.
That couldn't be a more appropriate song. That's like a favorite movie at our house. And we are in the fight of our lives, not only in our state, but in our country.
Well, first of all, to repeat again, I don't know if you remember when President Trump was first elected, one of the things he did that shocked America was he said, "Merry Christmas." Do you remember that? No presidents have done that in a long time. So everybody, Donald Trump stands up for our cultural values and stands up and says what needs to be said.
I've been asked, who are you going to support? Who are you going to back this election cycle? And for me, I always answer with this. There are only two things on the ballot. There is the DOJ, the FBI, and social media platforms, and Donald J. Trump. And if we don't send a message to the DOJ, the FBI, and those social media platforms that think they can abuse our institutions and pick who our president is to decide who the king, that they are the kingmakers, it's a dangerous time in our country. I have an interesting example of what I saw up close and personal. I had an opportunity to go to New York City, actually for the very first time, on a trip with a granddaughter and my own daughters for a birthday celebration. And I happened to be in New York City during the trial when President Trump was going to take the stand in the New York State Supreme Court. And just so happened that I was going to go to the 9/11 museum that day, but I did a little detour, and I stood in line, and I went into that court. And I am the daughter of a district attorney. I serve on the Judiciary Committee in the state legislature. I'm a law and order sort of gal. And what I saw there in that courtroom was unbelievable to me. A judge with contempt for the defendant, and had the audacity to say, and I even wrote it down, when President Trump was elaborating as a witness and was told, "We're not here to hear what you have to say." And I said to myself, well, then what are we here for? Isn't that what a court is for, is to hear what the defendant has to say? So the bias was so thick you could cut it with a knife in the room. And so I made an even double down effort that I'm going to do whatever it takes to help President Trump get elected.
We love the military, and one thing that happened under Donald Trump, like happened when I was younger under Ronald Reagan, was we restored our pride in the United States military. He rebuilt our military. And when you go and you look at the accomplishments of that man, as President of the United States, they're phenomenal. Some of the speakers already mentioned it. One that hasn't, though, great judges. How many times in our lifetime we've been frustrated by the Supreme Courts and these terrible decisions that pay no attention whatsoever to the Constitution of the United States? Donald Trump restored the Constitution of the United States by putting in good, quality judges, and he'll do it again when he's reelected. Trade policies, China. If you remember, at one time in the Republican Party, when I was a young man, we were all about free trade. Well, first of all, you can't have free trade with a communist country. It's an absolute contradiction in terms. So when we had free trade with China, they were cleaning our clocks. And when Donald Trump got elected, he went and renegotiated. We still have trade, but he made it fair to make sure that he protected American labor, American values, American environmental policies, that those things were all factored in, that he put tariffs on those goods, and he helped restore American manufacturing and made it proud once again to say, made in the USA. I think the biggest reason, by the way, I've served in the Nevada legislature for 7 sessions now, 14 years. I served as an assemblyman, as a state senator, and in that window of time, one thing that is I've learned very well, and you all have probably learned it as well too, it doesn't matter what politicians say. It matters what they do. And as you're watching the primaries right now, there are lots of folks that say great stuff. And I can tell you, I remember when John McCain was saying great stuff, and when Mitt Romney was saying great stuff, and Liz Cheney even running in Wyoming. Donald Trump kept every one of his promises that he made to us. Now, the other thing about President Trump, they have mercilessly attacked that man from the day he was elected to the day, even now, they're still using it. Two totally made-up impeachments, constantly dragging his family through the court systems. And I'll tell you, as a human being, when somebody stands up and fights for me, I feel a very strong obligation to fight for them. And Donald Trump has fought for you and has fought for me. And by the way, I am, even though I'm in a nice suit, I'm a plumber. I'm a blue-collar worker. At one time in America, when Franklin Roosevelt was running, he talked at length about the forgotten man. Well, now it's the forgotten men and women. I see a whole lot of people just like me in this audience. And who looked out for you during this 4 years as president? Donald Trump. Donald Trump got interest rates down, fuel prices down. For the first time in my lifetime, we became a next exporter of petroleum products. How many of you remember, you're as old as me, remember when Jimmy Carter told us all by the year 2000 the entire earth was going to run out of oil? And Ronald Reagan said no. And Donald Trump proved it. You unleash the potential of the American economy, and we can do wonders. You take the shackles off that the Biden administration and the Democrats keep placing on our economy, and you're going to have unemployment, and you're going to have high inflation, and you're going to have bad interest rates. Get Donald Trump back, break those shackles off, let American ingenuity be released, and watch this country get great again. Last thought. A great president was Theodore Roosevelt, Republican president, by the way. And he said something everybody should remember. And when I quote this from Theodore Roosevelt, I want you to think of Donald Trump. He said, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls that neither know victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt. Donald Trump is the man in the arena. He's the one fighting for you, fighting for me, fighting to restore traditional American values, stands up for the flag, stands up for patriotism, for our founding fathers, for the Constitution. It's a privilege and honor to stand here today. And by the way, this is the third election cycle where I very publicly expressed my full support for Donald Trump. Please tell everybody in America, you want America great again? Vote for Donald Trump. Thank you, everybody.
We had energy independence. We had manufacturing returning to the United States. We had low interest rates. We had jobs at the height of employment. And we need a shovel. now to dig out from this hole that we've gotten into under the Biden administration. We had peace in the world. We had the Abraham Accords. Ukraine was at peace. Putin was on notice. North Korea was deterred. I say to people, what is it you don't understand? It's very self-evident. So I hope you'll join me in helping President Trump get through the caucus and also to get through the general election, because Donald Trump made America great again in 2016 when he won and in his presidency, and he can make America great again in 2024. Thank you.